told that we might have got on, but we wasn't gonna make it.
Who told you that?
Somebody told us what they told us that we was coming on, but we wasn't gonna make it. But we made it.
You made
25
it.
years later.
It's done. All right.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, I think that was their standard. They told me the same thing.
And you made it. Let me turn it around so you can. They done told us a lot of stuff.
Atlantic Beach, where I pastored. My sister got to know Officer Chris from working the Jaguar games. Found out that he was a clown also. So one year she come to me and she said, well, Bishop, I know a Christian clown, and I think he would be just very good for our gospel in the park. I called Mr. C and we talked on the phone, and he came out the first year and he clowned around. I saw him in his clown suit. He came in his clown suit and he left in his clown suit. The second year, I talked with him on the phone. He came out, he clowned around, he came in his clown suit, and he left in his clown suit. The third year, he told me, he said, Bishop, I'm gonna have to leave a little early, so I'm gonna change while I'm there. Can I use the church? And I said, well, sure. Now, we have a festival that is from 9 to 6, and people are always thrusting up on me, saying goodbye, hello, etc. This particular time, Chris had changed. He walked up to me, and he said, Bishop, and I looked at him. He said, I'm finna go. And I said, okay. My sister observed me and realized that I didn't realize that I was Mr. C, because I had never saw him out of his clown suit. So we greeted, and certainly I have the privilege of serving the Jack's Fire Rescue as chaplain. And for many years since then, Chris has certainly been an inspiration to our church. I invited him to do comedy during our couples night. And he came in and he sat down, he observed all the couples. So when his time came up, he nailed it. But I certainly appreciate you, appreciate your spirit. We work certainly downtown and see each other all the time. He wasn't really working when he was on the beat. He was just walking around.
Amen, Pastor.
You know it. We would see him
Preach
go to
it.
lunch, and there was Mr. C standing up, sitting on the block somewhere, right down in that little car.
Yeah.
Patrolling the area. Yes, yes. But Mr. C, I want to say to you, certainly and your lovely wife, we have certainly enjoyed. Thank you for what you poured into my ministry and the gospel in the park. And I did call him today. Somehow or another, I went back and I got my invitation, and it did not have the time on it. And I told my wife, I said, I don't know if it's 6 or 7. Somehow or another, we got to be there on time. So I called him and I tried to play it off, and I go, what are you doing? He goes, oh man, I've been out on your side of town with Bishop Coins. And he asked me, did I know him? I said, well, what's going on today? And he said, well, my goddaughter's coming to take me to dinner, and I was hoping he was going to tell me what time. But he didn't reveal it. And I said, well, I wanted to talk with you, and also we got the gospel in the park coming up. And he said, I said, well, man, I was going to try to meet up with you. And he never did give it or reveal it. So he left me. I had to make calls. I didn't have your wife's number, but I found someone. I made a call, and they texted me the time, because we wanted to make sure we get here on time. So appreciate you. Love you, my brother.
Right here. This is.
Three of us worked together, really had a good time. But on the walking beat, mainly what we did was work down there in the plaza, taking care of the problems down there. I mean, doing real police work. But one of the things that one of the duties that we had was, from time to time, 3 of us had to split up, and we had to go down to the substation. We had to work in this substation. Now, that's not real police work, okay? We're behind the cash register giving out reports, and anyway, we hated it. We absolutely hated it. So, and we all 3 of us hated it equally. Well, one day the sergeant comes to me in Wally and says, hey, listen guys, new game plan here. You 2 will be working the substation. Chris is out. We said, well, wait a minute, man. hardly right. How come the two white guys on the substation, the black guy don't have to do that? Don't worry about it. Of course, me and Wally got together. We said, what has he done now? His other nickname is Swamp Gas. I'll tell you about that. Anyway, the sergeant said, don't worry about it. You just make sure you handle it. Well, Wally and I got together and we found out the story behind it. Chris didn't like it any more than we did. Chris was way ahead of the game. Chris goes in one afternoon, and at the end of the shift, you're supposed to take the money out of the cash register and put it in the safe. Well, Chris conveniently forgets the combination. So he's got this money, and he's ready to go home. He's going, what the heck am I going to do with this money? He says, heck, you know what, if I take it home with me, they'll say I stole it. I could go put it in the police property room, they'll never get it out. I know, I'll just put it in the desk. So he did. So the next day they come in, and the next morning they can't find money anywhere. So they call Chris, and Chris says, hey, go look in the desk. Sure enough, there it is. So they decided, okay, well, Chris can't work with this. So me and Wally just like tell him, go, hey, so Wally and I tried to tell him, well, we didn't know the combination either. No, it's only worked one time. But the other thing I was going to say is working with Chris has just been, I mean, there's nothing I can tell y'all except that there are some stories where the statute of limitations hasn't run out. Since Chris hasn't actually retired yet, we'll have to refrain from those. Working with Chris has been an absolute blast. There was nobody that didn't know. There was nobody that didn't know Chris. And he was just a lot of fun to work with. So, Chris, we're going to miss being around. Yeah, I love you. Oh, I think y'all got swamp gas. Oh, God.
Here we go. Make notes on it. Do we have any officials, like from the FBI? All right.
Both of us.
Do you hear that? We were nicknamed, we weren't the dynamic duo. We were both us. That's what Chris called us. That's right. When they called our call numbers, Chris would say, okay, they call them both us. What I want to know is,
it took both of them to make a
Chris
whole.
did 25 years, right? Kenny did what, 34 years? When you retired, both your wives bought you a car, right? Is that right? Huh? You got a new car? You got a pickup truck? Man, I did 35 years. You'd at least think my wife would get me a moped or something. Anyhow, Chris would always figure out a way to outsmart the administration at their game. Okay? He would figure it out. We would have to fight to put it, being on so long, we built up a lot of vacation time because we have to work, holidays and stuff, and build up the days. Well, you would have to go genuflect and put in the form to try to take those days off. And somehow or another, Chris could always get them off, and it was hard for me and Kenny to get those days off. Would you please explain that? But I want to tell you, Chris was one of the hardest working partners I ever had on the 2 days he showed up. Now, I was really impressed because I knew just people, human interaction, how much people meet Chris and they love Chris. And being a police officer, you expect when you go meet people that they're going to either, if you have a good attitude, they're going to like you. And there was a clown convention down at the Hyatt Hotel. And so, man, we're going to check this out. And Chris, that was one of the 2 days, or one of the 3 days you weren't working. I find out, well, Chris is at the clown convention. I'm like, oh my goodness. police. I said, I gotta check this out. So we go in and they don't even want to let us in. Police, and it's all these clowns, and man, it's a big event. They find out I know Mr. C, and oh, officer, come on in. You know Mr. C? And they're like, come on, get some food, and we want to talk to you. And it's like, that man was a celebrity. I'm serious. But we had to have our own little clown interaction because, I got a pocket full of his clown cards. We had big old red nose on it, and Chris's picture. Man, I give him out to the homeless guys. We're looking for this guy. He's on the list. Them guys look at Chris and go, hey, you look like that clown. Chris comes to me and says, stop doing that. The other thing about Chris, about outsmarting the administration, he had the plan down. He would never answer his cell phone.
Never.
Okay, now being his partner, that gets frustrating because he wouldn't answer it for me either. But the boss would always call me and say, you and Chris go do this. So I knew he was around here somewhere. I'd call, no answer, call, no answer. Why wouldn't you answer your phone? Why?
He never answered that phone.
Okay, well, one day I called him for lunch, he don't answer. Man, I said, we had a police officer.
You better stand up and